in the raw. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. A very wonderful Saturday, 5th morning. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, namaste, peace and blessings of God be with the nation Guyana. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Ocean Khan. RK's Guyana Free Media. And I'm looking at yesterday's paper. Today is Saturday, the 5th. But this is Friday, and I'm looking at the first headline, and it's emblazoned in all the various newspapers. Gary Best walks free in the death of our national cyclist. While he may walk free and his feet will touch the earth, Gary Best, I know, he cannot enjoy life. He really cannot fully, because the human conscience, regardless of how buried it is and how big it may feel, political wise and otherwise, the human conscience, or big friends, or huge appointments, the human conscience will sooner or later prick the heart. It will prick the soul. And he will bear some guilt. There is no way that Gary Best can say he is not responsible for the vicious death of a beautiful youth. There is no way. Actually, in the beginning, he himself said that he will not use any influence to get bail or anything of that sort because he was suffering from his own depression at the slaughter, technically the murder by carelessness of a beautiful youth, and a perpetual pain, hurt, and suffering of his wife or fiancé, children if he has, and definitely his mother. His mother will have to live with this because it was not an ordinary accident, ladies and gentlemen. The case was won by a legal technicality because the police, and I would say those who are responsible for laying of charges, did not do their homework. Knowing that it was coming up, they did not put a strong and a tough lawyer, whether from the Attorney General Chambers or the Director of Public Prosecutions Chambers, and leave it to an ordinary police prosecutor who know some aspects of law, but most of them who know very little. I was involved in a case and I saw one female prosecutor, and female, God bless their souls, but this one here should never have been put to prosecute. And she is okay. I have to blame the persons who put her there, her appointers, the trainers, the examiners, the person in charge of the judiciary selection of magistrates and judges. And so it is very unfair sometimes for these local prosecutors. And then sometimes, I remember Mr. Stanley Moore, when he was the Minister of Home Affairs, he had sent some police to study law, to become prosecutors. But when they came back, they left the police force and they went into private practice, etc., etc., etc. So on page 8 here is the story. And you know, this is in the raw, ladies and gentlemen, so we do these things. Beautiful. Look, I'm looking at a photograph of the murdered young man. I say murdered because it was caused by drunk driving, my friends. Yes, it was caused by drunk driving. Sorry, my finger touched the reverse button on the phone. Remember, I'm finding pages, I'm recording, I'm speaking, I'm commentating, I am reflecting, and my heart is in pain. As for Nigel Hughes, I would not abuse him. That is his way of living. He does not deny that his client murdered the youth by the lethal imbibing or imbibation or injection through the eating and chewing organs. He does not deny that, of alcohol through the chewing and the swallowing organ. He is saying something is wrong with the charge. So legal technicality. But the fact remains, he's a lawyer, and that is how he'll live. And according to law, one has a right to be defended, even if one is wrong, and one has a right to go free, because he has a smart and expensive lawyer. Gary Best is always a nice guy. He has his political machinations and his political priorities, which is his right, and his political loves, and so forth. But I think he's going to suffer very deeply, and I don't wish him. I don't wish the gentleman. I know he will. Every time he put a morsel of food in his mouth, he will remember that he forgot himself as a technocrat, an intelligentsia, a military exemplar, a teacher, and he sucked out the life of a youth. Every time he goes to bed, every time he wakes, the guilty conscience will prick his soul. The attorney at law is fine. I have nothing against him. He's talented, he's brilliant. The man has a voice, a personality, an intellect, a brains that all goes together. And I think also he has a certain charisma and personality that when he enters a court of law, like it used to be with Rex McKay, some magistrates and even some judges had a tendency of trembling. But it's just that besides that, the guy don't know very good mathematics. Remember what he caused with the Guyana election and the confusion and the furor with 32 versus 33, because 33 is not the greater of 65, which is a very strange mathematical calculation and style of equation. Let me go to the article. Gary Best walks free of Jude Bentley's death. God bless your soul, son. God bless your soul, my boy. National cyclist, a hero we lost, because a man in the height of political dynamism in the country and the motivation couldn't control and not consume his liquor and not operate a machinery of death, albeit his motor vehicle. Former Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defence Force, Gary Best, yesterday walked free of causing a death by dangerous driving charge in which national cyclist Jude Bentley was killed, I say murdered. During a brief interview outside of the courthouse yesterday, when asked for a reaction, Best said, "I would like to express that I'm happy that the matter is dismissed, and what played out in court is exactly what happened." What played out in court is that there was a legal technical point that the case was badly prepared and presented. That is what prepared in court. So yes, he must be happy. He is free to breathe and to live. But the human conscience, the subconscious, has its job to do. Back to the article. Best was placed on $500,000 bail and was not required to plead to the indictable charge when it was first read to him. The charge stated that on February 8, 2020, at Clive Lloyd Drive, Georgetown, he drove motor vehicle PRR 8182 in a manner dangerous to the public, thereby causing death of Bentley. Here is a young man, ladies and gentlemen. What a handsome youth. He must have had a fiancée, a wife, possible children, and beautiful parents that must have sacrificed to educate him. How some lawyers, I don't know why, I always wonder, that's why I didn't go for law, ladies and gentlemen. I was supposed to. I was accepted in London to study law. But when I realized that I can't tell lies, and even prosecutors tell lies to win cases and cause innocent people to go to prison too. I couldn't make that my career. He was on trial in the Georgetown Magistrate Court before Magistrate Rondell Weaver. And I couldn't eat if I was to tell lie and take money by deceit, dishonesty, or even if I earn it by defending criminals or putting innocent or guilty people in jail. I could not be happy with that. Magistrate Weaver yesterday upheld a no-case submission. That is the matter. It was a no-case submission, technically a legal knockout punch. And if you notice, everything that goes to court, everything that is high-paced or draws public traction, Mr. Nigel Hughes, attorney at law, who I think it's time for him to become a senior counsel. I can't, where it comes to law, the man should be made a legal counsel. Magistrate Weaver yesterday upheld a no-case submission that was made in October by Best Attorney Nigel Hughes, Ronald Daniels, and Sophia Findlay. On October 26, Hughes submitted the no-case submission to the court for the cause of death by dangerous driving charge to be dismissed against his client based on the grounds that the prosecution failed to prove the key elements of the offense. The man was found under influence of alcohol. He was drunk. He technically accepted. He did not intend to prosecute. He was suffering. And seeing that this was done, I think the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution team, the Attorney General team, the police legal team, they should have been working together on this, something like the Marcus Bistram's matter. So you see what happened to Marcus Bistram? The universe ekes its vengeance, but more is there to come from the universe. For each evil we do, for an autumn weight of evil we produce, we shall suffer likewise. Be it an atom or be it 1,000 tons. According to Hughes, the no-case submission was upheld by Magistrate Weaver, who ruled that the prosecution failed to establish that Best was driving dangerously. Therefore, the charge was dismissed. So not even the alcohol charge? During the interview, Best also stated, now that the matter is over, both families can heal. He said that it was an accident, and the facts that were presented at the court showed that he was not driving dangerously and did not deliberately kill Bentley. Oh no! He will not deliberately kill anybody. Mr. Best will not do that. He's a professional when it comes to his career. Might not be the best in selecting political loves, but he has a right to fall in love like a woman with whichever political party he likes. So we have to respect that. But he did not deliberately kill, but he was under the influence of alcohol. And we have seen innocent people go to jail, ladies and gentlemen, for things like this. Simple people, innocent technically, but go to jail because they're ordinary. They don't have these high-paced lawyers, nor the personality or the power to influence and the political control. The People's National Congress executive member who lives at Pradoville 2, Sparendam, East Coast Demerara, was also charged for driving under the influence of alcohol. He had denied the charge, which stated that on February 8, 2020, at Clive Lloyd Drive, Georgetown, he drove motor vehicle PRR 8182 while his blood level was at 0.85 micrograms. Best was granted self-bail on the charge, while the trial for this matter is ongoing in the magistrate's courts before Senior Magistrate Clive Nurse. So the alcohol part is okay. He might get a $7,000 fine, because when they were establishing the laws, and President Jagdeo had to accent to it, and this is one of former President Jagdeo's mistakes, I think. When I suggested that the car must be seized, the property must be seized, they must go through many years of suspension and a special course in order to qualify. Ladies and gentlemen, I personally believe that he should not have accented a $7,000 bail for driving under the influence of alcohol. Anyone driving a vehicle is a potential murderer. Driving under the influence of alcohol is the worst of all. They should have taken the example of the United Kingdom and particularly New York. when it comes to driving under the influence of alcohol. In a previous hearing of the matter, the court learned that Best served his country for nearly 35 years and that he was served as presidential advisor, a member of the Legal Aid Clinic, and a recipient of the Medal of Service. KAIETEUR News has reported that the accident occurred at about 5 a.m. on February 8, 2020. Bentley was allegedly struck by the black Toyota Land Cruiser, which was being driven by Best. The reports indicate that Best and Bentley were heading in the eastern direction when the former slammed into the cyclist, taking down a utility pole located on a median at the same time. So, he was driving so heavy, ladies and gentlemen, he knocked the man, killed him on the spot, pulled down what we call a lantern post, or a London post for those of local language. And then he's defending his case, and he has big ones, and those in politics. Oh boy, what a sad and a horrific thing indeed. Friends and family, your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Ocean Khan, in the raw. Saying farewell, friends.